The flash of the phone camera caught Ariella and Ashley completely off guard as their lips met in a tender goodbye kiss, right on the front porch of their rental house in the quiet Atlanta suburb of Willow Creek. "What are you doing?" Ashley yelled, pulling back quickly, her face flushing with a mix of embarrassment and anger. Mrs. Evelyn Grant, the elderly widow from next door, didn't even flinch as she continued recording, her voice booming with righteous indignation. "This is a decent neighborhood. The Lord doesn't approve of such abominations." By evening, the clip had exploded across the local community Facebook group. Comments flooded in from neighbors they had smiled at for years, Bible verses, calls to repent, demands that those girls move out before they corrupted the children playing in the cul-de-sac. Ariella sat frozen on the worn leather couch in their living room, phone glowing in her lap, her stomach twisting into knots. She had spent the last 2 years carefully curating a low-profile life, here precisely to avoid moments like this. Ashley paced the hardwood floor, sneakers squeaking, her voice sharp with disbelief. "We can't let her get away with this. That's straight-up harassment. Privacy laws exist for a reason." Ariella rubbed her temples, the weight of the day pressing down. At 28 she had built a successful property management facade, but the truth was far more complicated. She glanced at Ashley, her girlfriend of 3 years, whose dark curls bounced with every frustrated step. Ashley was the fire, outspoken, quick to defend, raised by parents who had never once questioned her sexuality. Ariella, on the other hand, still heard her mother's Sunday sermons echoing in her head from their small church back in rural Georgia. "Love the sinner, hate the sin," Pastor Thompson used to say, and Ariella had never found the courage to test whether that love would survive knowing the sinner was her own daughter. The argument stretched late into the night. Ashley wanted to call the police, post their own video, demand an apology on the group. Ariella kept shaking her head, voice soft but firm. "Confronting her publicly will only make it worse. People here go to the same church. They'll circle the wagons." Ashley stopped pacing, hands on hips. "So we just hide? Pretend it didn't happen? That's not who we are, Ari." The words hung between them, heavy with truth neither wanted to name yet. Outside, the streetlights flickered on, casting long shadows across the identical brick houses that lined the block. Houses Ariella secretly owned, every single one of them. The next morning the comments had doubled. Someone had tagged the property management company in a scathing post. Ariella stared at the notification, heart hammering. The proxy company she used to hide behind was about to get dragged into the mess. Ashley brought coffee, concern etched on her face. "You're scaring me. Talk to me." Ariella set the phone down, swallowing hard. "There's something I never told you. Mrs. Grant, she's not just a neighbor. She's one of our tenants." Ashley's eyebrows shot up. "Our tenants? Since when do we own anything?" Ariella took a deep breath, the secret she had guarded for years finally cracking open. "Because I own the entire row. All 8 houses. I inherited them from my uncle 2 years ago. I just never wanted anyone to know." Ashley sank onto the couch beside her, mug forgotten. The revelation settled between them like a stone dropped into still water. For the first time since the kiss, the neighborhood scandal felt small compared to the earthquake now rumbling beneath their feet. Ariella watched Ashley's expression shift from shock to something deeper. Hurt, maybe, at being kept in the dark. "Why didn't you tell me?" Ashley asked quietly. Ariella looked away, eyes stinging. "Because owning property changes how people see you. I wanted us to be normal. Just 2 girls renting a house, figuring life out. I didn't want the power, the expectations." Her voice trailed off. Outside, Mrs. Grant's curtains twitched. The real storm was only beginning. They decided to confront Mrs. Grant together that afternoon. Ariella's hands trembled as she knocked on the neighbor's door, Ashley standing tall beside her. The older woman opened it with a tight smile, Bible still in hand. "I've been praying for you girls," she said before either could speak. Ashley jumped in first. "Praying while filming us without consent? That's not prayer, that's invasion." Mrs. Grant's eyes narrowed. "The Lord sees everything. I was protecting the children on this street from—" Ariella cut her off, voice steadier than she felt. "You posted the video in a public group. That's harassment." The conversation escalated quickly, voices rising on the porch. Mrs. Grant threatened to call the landlord, Demand they be evicted for immoral conduct. Ariella's stomach dropped. The words were out before she could stop them. I am the landlord. Silence crashed down. Mrs. Grant blinked, confusion flickering across her lined face. What did you just say? Ariella repeated it clearer this time. I own these houses. All of them. The management company works for me. The color drained from Mrs. Grant's cheeks. Ashley stared at Ariella, equal parts stunned and impressed. For a moment the three women stood frozen in the late afternoon sun, the power dynamic flipping so fast it left everyone dizzy. Mrs. Grant recovered first, voice shaking with righteous anger. So you've been deceiving everyone, living among us like a tenant while judging from your throne? And now this lifestyle. Ariella felt the words like a slap. I never judged anyone. I just wanted to live quietly. But Mrs. Grant was already backing inside. We'll see what the church board thinks about a landlord promoting sin. Back in their own house, the argument between Ariella and Ashley ignited. You should evict her, Ashley insisted, pacing again. She violated our privacy, shamed us online. There are laws. Ariella sank into a chair, head in hands. It's not that simple. She's 72, widowed, fixed income. Kicking her out would destroy her. Ashley stopped, eyes flashing. And letting her destroy us is better? She called our love an abomination, Ari. On camera. Ariella looked up, voice cracking. I know. But using my ownership to punish her, that feels wrong too. Like I'm abusing power I never wanted. The debate stretched for hours, circling the same painful questions. Justice versus mercy. Protection versus revenge. Identity versus community. That night Ariella lay awake long after Ashley had fallen into exhausted sleep. She stared at the ceiling, remembering her uncle's funeral, the will that had dropped 8 houses into her lap with the quiet instruction. Don't let money change who you are. Now money, or the power it represented, was forcing her to decide exactly who she was. Outside, the neighborhood slept under a blanket of normalcy, unaware that one of their own had just become the lightning rod for everything they feared. The call from Ariella's mother came at 7:12 the next morning. Ariella Grace Thompson, I raised you better than this. Pastor Thompson's voice trembled with disappointment that cut deeper than any shout. Someone from the church group had forwarded the video. Your father is heartbroken. The whole congregation is talking. Are you living in sin with that girl? Ariella gripped the phone, tears slipping down her cheeks. Mom, I love her. That's not a sin. The line went silent for a long beat. Love is patient, love is kind. But this is confusion. Come home. We'll pray through it. The church can help you. Ariella hung up shaking, the weight of generations of faith pressing on her chest. Ashley found her curled on the couch, phone still clutched. What did she say? Ariella repeated the conversation in a flat voice. Ashley's jaw tightened. So now your family wants to fix you? Like you're broken. The words stung because part of Ariella still wondered if they were right. She had grown up believing every verse, every sermon. Loving Ashley had felt like the first honest thing in her life. Yet every time she tried to reconcile it with her upbringing, the pieces refused to fit. Ashley pulled her close. You're not broken. We're not broken. But hiding forever isn't living. Ariella nodded against her shoulder. But the doubt lingered like smoke. The church board meeting was scheduled for Wednesday night. Mrs. Grant had made sure everyone knew the landlord herself was living in sin. Ariella received a polite but firm invitation to attend, to discuss the moral climate of Willow Creek Properties. The email read. Ashley wanted to go with her. Ariella refused. This is my family's world. I need to face it alone. That decision became the first crack in their unity. Ashley felt shut out. Ariella felt suffocated by the expectation to choose between love and legacy. At the meeting the room smelled of old wood and coffee. Faces she had known since childhood stared back with pity or judgment. Mrs. Grant sat in the front row, hands folded. The pastor opened with prayer, then turned to Ariella. We love you, child. But we cannot condone behavior that leads others astray. Ariella stood, voice surprisingly steady. I'm not asking for condoning. I'm asking for respect. The same respect I've shown every tenant, every neighbor. The debate that followed was civil on the surface, brutal underneath. Bible verses flew like arrows. Ariella countered with questions about grace, about judging neighbors while ignoring the log in one's own eye. No one changed their mind, but something shifted inside her. She heard her own voice saying the words she had whispered only to Ashley before. When she left the church that night, she knew her mother's next call would be different. The bridge was burning and she had lit the match. The backlash rippled outward. 2 tenants gave notice, citing moral discomfort. The local paper ran a short piece about controversy at Willow Creek Rentals. Ariella's proxy company inbox filled with angry emails. Ashley's co-workers at the marketing firm started whispering. One afternoon, a friend from Ariella's college days showed up unannounced. "I saw the video. Are you okay?" The conversation turned into an hours-long debate on the porch about faith, identity, and whether love could ever be worth the cost of family. Ariella listened exhausted, realizing how many people believed they were helping by urging her to repent. Inside the house, the tension between her and Ashley grew. Ashley wanted to fight publicly, social media posts, interviews, a formal complaint. Ariella wanted quiet dignity, believing confrontation would only validate the very judgment they despised. "You're letting them win by staying silent," Ashley argued one night over cold pizza. "No," Ariella replied softly. "I'm choosing not to become what they accuse me of, cruel." The disagreement wasn't loud, it was worse. It was the slow erosion of the easy trust they had always shared. Ariella spent long hours walking the neighborhood alone, looking at the houses she owned. Families inside celebrated birthdays, argued over bills, lived ordinary lives. She had never raised rent above inflation, always fixed things promptly. Now some of those same families avoided eye contact when she passed. The power she had hidden for so long had become a cage. Ashley watched her withdraw and felt helpless. "I love you," she said one evening, "but I don't know how to help you carry this." Ariella kissed her forehead. "Just stay. That's enough." Yet both wondered if staying would be enough when everything else was crumbling. After weeks of sleepless nights and tense silences, Ariella made the decision. She drafted the eviction notice herself, citing repeated harassment and violation of privacy clauses in the lease. Mrs. Grant received it on a rainy Thursday. The older woman called immediately, voice breaking. "You would throw an old woman out over a kiss?" Ariella's hand shook on the phone. "No. I would protect the peace of every tenant who deserves to live without fear, including us." She hung up feeling sick. Ashley held her while she cried, whispering, "You did the right thing." But the right thing tasted like ash. The neighborhood erupted. Petitions circulated to save Mrs. Grant. Local pastors preached about religious freedom versus property rights. Ariella's mother sent a single text. "We are praying for your soul. Do not contact us until you repent." The finality of it cracked something deep inside Ariella. She had lost her family, her anonymity. Pieces of herself she hadn't known were fragile. Ashley watched her stare out the window for hours, guilt and resolve warring on her face. "I never wanted this power," Ariella whispered one night. "But once I had it, hiding felt like lying. Using it feels like sinning." Ashley pulled her close. "Then we learn how to carry both." Mrs. Grant moved out the following month. The house stood empty, a visible reminder of the cost. Other tenants watched warily. Ariella paid for Mrs. Grant's moving expenses anonymously, a small gesture that changed nothing in the court of public opinion. The decision that had seemed so clear, protecting their right to exist, had fractured the community and shattered Ariella's last ties to the faith of her childhood. She sat on the porch steps the day the moving truck left, Ashley beside her, and felt the full weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders. No victory parade, only the quiet knowledge that every choice, even the right one, leaves scars. Months later, the neighborhood had settled into a fragile new normal. New tenants moved into Mrs. Grant's old house, kind people who minded their business. Ariella sold 2 of the properties, using the proceeds to create a small scholarship fund for LGBTQ youth in rural Georgia. She never announced it, she simply did it. Ashley watched her girlfriend grow quieter, steadier, as if the losses had carved space for something deeper. They still kissed on the porch sometimes, but now they did it knowing the price and choosing it anyway. One evening, under the same porch light that had started everything, Ariella turned to Ashley. "I used to think love would fix everything. Now I know love just gives you the strength to carry what it breaks. Ashley smiled softly, fingers tracing Ariella's cheek. And we're still here. Still us. They sat in comfortable silence, the weight of the past present but no longer crushing. The journey hadn't ended in triumph. It had ended in acceptance, the hardest, most honest kind. Was it right for Ariella to wield the power she had hidden in order to protect their love, even when it cost Mrs. Grant her home and Ariella her family, or should she have continued hiding to preserve peace for everyone involved?